Pick a side, pick a side. Yep. Now get out the way, charlatans. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Charlene. We talking about practice, or we talking about the real market? We talk the market I love. Look, get no fraud. Involved. Get involved. Yep. Let's see the solve. Woo! We coming back with the heat. Yeah. You already know who it is. It's Mr. Wall Street, that kid, big guy, hit Don Wick in this bitch. And you already know what it is. Truth Bomb. Yeah, this is Market Forensics, episode 2. Now, I got a question for you. Are you even trading a real instrument? You got to ask yourself that when you're playing in the market, right? You got to understand the landscape. So if you don't know the product, right? If you aren't aware of the product, then chances are you are the product. See, in this game, you either liquid or liquidity. All right, remember that. I want you to focus on that. Let that sink in a bit. All right. So that being said, I wanna dive straight in. Okay. We want to go deep. I want to take a page out of AI's book. What are we talking about? We talking about practice or the real markets? No, for real. I mean, are we talking about practice or the markets that I love? Right? What are we talking about? Are we talking about a simulation and a demo? Right? A phantom market, synthetic CFD price feeder. We're talking about the real market, the market I love. We're talking about gold clearing through a clearing house, futures commission merchant. Are we talking about a synthetic trap trading in the matrix? Come on, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. Are you trading the real market or just a simulation with the broker's name on it? Because most retail traders, even the ones with funded accounts, especially the ones with funded accounts, they're playing a very expensive video game. Okay? So this episode, all right, is are you even trading a real instrument? So you're risking real money, but in fake assets. Okay? So this is truth detection initiated. Scanning assets for legitimacy. I want to take a quick little side note because we're talking about no frauds. When I was young, I was a little boy. Speaking of young and little boy, son, did you buy the stocks? Remember I told you you got to buy the stocks, huh? I want to go over the ones you bought for today, and then we'll go ahead and look at your portfolio. All right, but stocks. These are things you really hold. I didn't buy stocks today. Yes, I knew you didn't. So we're gonna get you on the right horse and on the right track. But it's very important to start early because when you start early, you get to know the field you're playing in. Even my son knows when he's trading in a sandbox and trading in a market that may be demo or simulated versus real. See, when I was young, I'd say probably around like 4 years old, my mother, she used to take me to the arcade, and I would play the video games, and she would have it on the intro screen. Wouldn't even put a coin in the machine. Wouldn't even put a coin in the game. She didn't even have to because at that young tender age, I had no idea what I was trading. It wasn't until I learned how to read the fine print that I knew I needed a cent to make it make sense. You dig that? That means when I could read the screen saying insert coin, I had to tap my mama like, yo, ma, we got to put some coins in the machine so we can get past the intro screen. Yeah. So you're risking real money, but in fake assets. That's very important. So when I ask you, taking a page out of Allen Iverson's book, what are we talking about here? We talking about practice No, for real. Are we talking about demo? We're talking about a simulation. Even that challenge account that you're trading with the prop firm is a demo. Now, shout out to Top Step Trader because Top Step, they're one of the top prop firms out there. They've been out for over a decade, and they're regulated by the CFTC, and all the products that they trade are through the CME or ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, or the various exchanges that you have available that clear these products so that you know you're really in the real market, right? So when we think about it, right, what you're probably trading is a synthetic asset, okay? So then you have to ask yourself, what is a real instrument? It's either OTC or DTC, baby. You catch that? Either OTC or DTC. It's as simple as ABC, actually. OTC, over the counter, right? Decentralized, where there's a lot more tricks that they can play and market traps to be able to worry about and avoid. Or you're trading DTC, Depository Trust Company, right? Where the actual assets are cleared. Yeah. If it's cleared through DTC, CME, or OCC, it's the real deal, baby. Let me say it again. If it's cleared through DTC versus OTC, through CME or OCC, it's real to me. All right. And I'm willing to pay that fee, okay? The exchange fee that comes along with it. So, again, another thing is it transferable? Okay, can you move your position to another broker without losing ownership? I want you to think about it. Fractional shares can't be transferred. Synthetic CFDs can't be transferred. It's a contract for difference, not a futures contract. Okay, so let's talk about what you're actually trading. Most of you, that includes you, Charlene, the charlatan, okay? Most of you are on platforms like MT4 or MT5 or Webull or Robinhood, or even worse, trading delayed charts on TradingView. Now they do have the pro account, right? TradingView does have pro accounts, but the delayed charts, the free charts, again, there is no free lunch. If you're expecting the free lunch, then chances are you are the lunch, you are the food, you are the liquid. So most of them are trading through Webull, through the Robinhoods, where you're not taking actual ownership. You're playing with CFDs. These are synthetic crypto pairs or simulated commodities. Okay? So in this environment, in this matrix, if you will, this sandbox, the broker sets the price. They fake the volume because there is no centralized clearing firm for you to see the volume picture. So a lot of times that picture of volume is not a real depiction of the market. Okay, so that's not a market, it's a mirror. Or better yet, a mirage. We talked about the garage, the Lambo not leaving the garage, trading the mirage, which is garbage. Yes. So you're reacting to a script, not real supply and demand, but what the broker has fixed and put together for you. So cleared and settled by a third party, right? A clearinghouse, this guarantees the trade, right? Is a real trade sent to the market, okay? And you're trading against the market versus the broker. And the clearinghouse guarantees the trade, not the broker, okay? So these are recognized in global custody systems. So the asset can be tracked on official ledgers. A lot of times you can look and see with DTC, right? Or Seeds and Co. Who's really holding it and where they are on an actual, a ledger. Okay, not just the broker's ledger. Okay, so real instruments have a clearinghouse between you and the market, and that's very, very important that we understand that. Okay, you can see here. Okay, we go back. Boom, gold. Gold is not XAUUSD. Gold is GC. Okay, it's the gold futures contract. All right. And each of the futures contracts, they're going to be settled through CME. Okay. Or in this case, COMEX. So the fake asset much different. So those that are trading XAUUSD, thinking that they're actually trading gold, you're trading a synthetic simulated commodity that has no transferability. Okay? It's not transferable across brokers. If I have a real gold futures contract, and let's say I'm trading it with Charles Schwab, and I want to move my position and my money and my assets and my portfolio over to interactive brokers, IKBR, right? Right? I I'm going to have actual contracts cleared through a futures commission merchant. Therefore, I really have ownership. And I can transfer that ownership to another broker who is an actual, truly regulated broker, right? Um, Futures commission merchants, able to clear your products, give you direct market access, and not this junk you see on the screen, this XAUUSD synthetic, the synthetic feed. Okay. Um, what you're probably trading instead, okay, most of you, if it's SPX 500 versus SPX or versus the ES futures contract, you're probably trading an over-the-counter contract with no clearing. Yes, that XAUUSD, it's not GC, baby. So there's no third-party guarantees for your trade. And the broker, a lot of times, is on the other side of your trade. They're the counterparty. And there's so much risk inherent with that. They're also giving you spoof pricing, simulated pricing, okay? Not order books where you can see level 2 data. So what are we talking about here? We talking about practice? Are we talking about the real markets? Are we talking about practice or the markets I love? We talking about a simulation, a demo that has no transfer rights, no receipts. You can't move it to another broker, so you don't truly own it. You think you own gold, but nah, you own a line of code that just says you do. So try transferring that CFD to another broker. Wrong. Access denied. Try moving your Robinhood crypto to a cold wallet. Access denied. So when you're trading crypto through a Robinhood or a Webull or even a crypto.com, a lot of times you're not actually able to take delivery. I believe crypto.com has changed over the years to where you can take delivery now on assets. But when you're trading with Robinhood or you're even trading in the Forex market, say you're trading crypto in the Forex market, it is a CFD. It's a contract for difference. It is not the actual underlying asset. Okay? So you can't move it. Why? Because you don't own anything. You just hold a position inside their ecosystem, right? A simulation with emotional consequences and a hidden tax, a hidden fee, which is very expensive over time. So it gives you the illusion of ownership. Let's break this down plain terms here. Okay, here's your cheat code. And we also will give you a audit kit so that you can be able to determine, real price between fake price. You do also a broker firm audit, okay, or an asset audit, so you can actually see if what you're truly trading is the underlying asset or a derivative of the underlying, which is very important for you to be able to know if you're really in the market or if we're just practicing. Okay. So if the broker created the experience, it's just a game, right? It may be a fun one until you start losing at your expense, right? To the broker's delight. And they don't even care. If you win, they just need you to trade. Because over time they know that the house always wins because the odds are tilted in their favor. Because you're not trading with the market, you're trading against the platform, you're trading against the broker, which can be very, very costly over time. Think about that. $10 a trade, them widening the spread on me is through over 100 trades, it's $1,000. And this stuff really adds up. So you definitely want to make sure that you understand the characteristics of the instrument. What is the real symbol of the underlying asset? In our case, for a lot of the assets that you guys like to trade, and at the end of this presentation, I'm going to go over some of these assets so you can actually see what they are. But we're talking about gold, which is GC, not XAUUSD. S&P is really ES. if you're in the futures, if we're talking in ETF, it's going to be SPX or SPY, not SPX 500. It's not NAS 100. It's either NQ or QQQ. And the same goes for Dow. No Dow 30, but YM. Okay? Or DIA. Some call it the diamonds. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, y'all. So understand that we must know how to vet these things on certain platforms where they're manipulating you. And a lot of times you know they're manipulating you when they gamify it. They make it easier for you to navigate. That means they're stripping you. So if I'm holding crypto on Webull, it's not a real crypto. You own an IOU, not the actual Bitcoin. The exchange holds the keys. And in crypto, there's a saying, not your keys, not your crypto. So the market forensics, it helps with any and all markets. So when we're speaking on ownership, there's a few instances where ownership is probably not that advantageous. If I'm just starting out and I'm starting with a small portfolio, fractional shares is actually going to help. The thing is, you can't transfer fractional shares because you have no ownership. You have no full ownership. You have no actual voting rights, right? There's a lot of things that come with owning stock. So the actual shares can't be transferred. You can't vote. It's just a fraction of a share and it's held by the broker. So therefore, you're not locked inside the broker's database. And even worse, when we're talking about CFDs, whether it's crypto or simulated commodities, these are uncleared. They're opaque and they're locked in the broker's platform. Even worse, if you're trading equities instruments in forex, it's not real. The rule of thumb: if I'm not trading in the market where the instrument is mainly traded, where it comes from, and where it's cleared, I am not trading in the market. You're trading against your broker. And you add in the fact that a lot of you new traders end up trading it yourself, it makes it even worse. So the position only exists in their system, not recorded on any global ledger. And it's very important that we understand that. Okay. So how do we protect ourselves? You got to ask these questions here, right? These 4 questions. Am I owning it and holding it, or is it a synthetic crypto that's pooled with a broker such as, like I said, the Weebulls, the Robin Hoods of the game? Okay. Does it clear through DTC or CME or OCC? Can I verify the fill down to the millisecond? Or are they slipping me? Or are they padding? The difference is structural. So it determines whether you actually are owning it or just renting access to be playing the game, right? Real instruments, they always have third-party clearance. Fake instruments only have the broker's promise. Yes, that's very important that we understand and are able to differentiate this. If you fail any of these questions, right, then just know that you're in a simulation. You're reacting to movement, not participation in the market. And this is where you can get a lot of those fake spikes that come in, right? Where the broker's manipulating the price action. Real ownership is required to be on a ledger cleared by a futures commission merchant or a clearinghouse, if you will, if we're talking equities. And with crypto, you should be able to take delivery. I mentioned what instances might not warrant actually taking delivery, and technically, it's really just going to be most instruments, such as forex. You can't take delivery on forex. You can't take delivery on a CFD. But with equities, futures contracts, options contracts, and crypto, I should be able to take delivery of that, or at least transfer it to another broker. With crypto, I can take delivery. With an actual options contract, futures contract, or full shares of stock, you can transfer it to an actual legitimately regulated broker. So ask yourself these 4 questions, and it'll help you vet it. If I can't move it to another broker, then chances are I don't own it. Okay? Real instruments have third-party clearance. So you got to demand transparency, real order flow and execution. And if they're taking the other side, there's a conflict of interest. Okay? Fail any of these questions and it's a fake, a facade. So gold, actual gold, is GC. This is the real futures contract. The fake one, again, the fake one is XAUUSD. The fake one ain't gold, right? Think about gold. So if we wind down here, why this isn't just semantics. The entire strategy fails if the instrument isn't real. Simulated movement doesn't equal real order flow. So therefore, smart money concepts collapse, such as order blocks, liquidity sweeps. None of them work when we're talking about a fake simulation. Fake asset equals fake risk reward, which means you are the reward for the broker. All right. So what is fake? This is fake. Okay. And let's show you what real looks like. You could also see fake as CFDs. It says CFD all over this particular image. And then here you can see it's cleared, it's futures, it's cleared through the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and the actual symbol is ES. All right, so the broker's the game board when you're trading in an illusion, when you're trading in the matrix or in the sandbox. That means you're not in the market, you're in their simulation. Most CFDs, they're internally executed. Okay, the trade never touches an exchange. It's in their liquidity bucket, so the broker stays the same. All right. So uh, price is controlled, not discovered. The broker sets the price, so they create the illusion of a real market. So there's no real market discovery happening. No level 2 data. So you're sparring with a mirror, right? Not a market, a mirage instead of the market. So move to real instruments. You want to move to brokers that clear through exchanges, demand ETC, demand CME settlement, demand receipts, transparency, and clearing. Ask for proof of clearing, and then exit the illusion. I mean, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about practice, or are we talking about a simulation? Now, before I wind down and end, all right, I want you to look at what's real, okay? I mentioned Top Step earlier. Top Step is a good one because they are giving you actual futures commission merchant clear products or things cleared through ICE. So when we move to real markets, we can actually see it ends up being to our advantage. So audit what you trade, right? Before it's too late. I want you to download the real asset map. Okay, you'll find the link below. Follow the market forensic series as we'll be going over to episode 3. Episode 3 drops tomorrow. And join the community. All right. And if you're unsure, just ask. You already know who it is. I'm Mr. Wall Street, Big God, Don Wick, signing off in this bitch. Yeah, I'll show you how to do this, son. Catch up, diggers.